sale mapped out in your brain, and you know where you're going, and it's like an instinct that you go full in it. Like, have you gotten to that point where it's not like you're kind of in the flow when you're in a sale, and you know the steps of it? Who can tell me, like, I'm gonna test you guys. So what's the first step of the sales mind map?
Icebreaker.
Okay, cool. So we got like icebreaker, right? Then what do we got?
Intro.
Cool. Intro. So we're on this section. In your mind, you're like, I'm on the intro section. Then what do you got? Like, what's one of the most important parts of the intro? Why do people buy?
You create a need.
Rapport. Why do people typically buy pest control in the doors?
Because they need it.
Everybody's doing it. So I went to one guy, got him real close, went next door yesterday, had the same company, and I was like, what he liked, what he thought was cool, and I switched it. Then I went back to him, I was like, your neighbor's doing it. And he was like, well, I was just looking at the contract, but I'm also talking to 6 of my friends about it, and one of them already has Anthem, so give me like a day or two, and I'll get back to you, but you'll at least get one deal out of it. Like, I went back to the house at like 8 p.m. at night. It was cold, it was cold, dark. I was like, I am so sorry, but probably gonna be 6 sales. But they did it because their friends do it. Why are those 6 people gonna sign up?
Because one of them did.
Because their friends are doing it. So in this intro, the most important thing is everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. So their neighbor's doing it. That's the most important part of the intro. Everybody's doing it. Because if you go and you're like, hey, how's it going? Beautiful house. I don't know if you know Nancy Smith, James Porter. I'm taking care of another 15 of your neighbors. Everybody's been switching over to me. I haven't even said anything, but they're already leaning forward. Oh, everyone's doing it. Do you see how you kind of get them on the pulling them in? Cool. So everybody's doing it, and then what are you trying to figure out?
Create a need.
Well, then the next part of the map is right.
Smoke screen.
Yeah, smoke screen.
Services.
Figuring out who they've been.
So you need to what?
Who's seeing them?
Discovery. You gotta ask probing questions. Who do they have?
Yeah. So you're really trying to find out, like, cool, which path am I going on? Am I DIY, or do they have a company? Is this a switchover or is this a start? Because they look different, right? They have a different path. So what kind of a different path? We've been treating them kind of as the same, but we're gonna do a switchover one, right? So what's the path for a switchover?
Most of your neighbors are switching over from either home team or Massey. Who's coming out for you?
8 Mile. Bing bong.
Perfect. So they say, I got a company, and you're like, oh, perfect. I was hoping you said that.
Oh, no.
Was it home team? Nice. Everybody's been switching over me from home team. Like, write notes, or we got this recorded. So you're gonna catch it with confidence, right? And then you're gonna like 8 Mile the objections. Oh, we've got home team. Oh, perfect. I was hoping you'd say that. Dude, everybody has been switching to me from home team. What are they about to say when I say that? Everybody's been switching to me from home team.
Why?
Or who?
They'll typically still hit you with the smoke. They'll be like, oh, but I'm happy. I'm not looking to switch. I'm not seeing any bugs.
I got a whole year free.
Like, they're going to give you some excuse, right? You always want to get ahead of the objections before their objections. And you need to know what the path looks like. And you need to know what punches they're going to throw. So you're going to say, you have home team? Oh, perfect. I was hoping you'd say that. Dude, everybody has been switching to me from home team. And they're like, oh, really? They're either going to be like, oh, really? Like, why? I'm interested. Or they're going to be like, oh, yeah, but I'm good. I haven't been seeing any bugs. I'm happy. I'm not looking to switch, right? So you get ahead of that and you say, now, not because they weren't happy or they were dissatisfied or anything. It's like, it's not because they're having any problems. Like, I'm sure you're not looking to switch. I'm sure you're not seeing any bugs. I'm sure like you're happy. And nobody has been upset. It's just been all the free extra bonus services why everybody's been switching to me. So they're gonna try to give you some smoke screens. So you're gonna 8 Mile like the smoke screens where they're like, I'm happy and everything. Is this making sense?
Mm-hmm.
You guys like follow me? You guys can kind of see the script in your head. So they're gonna give you the smoke screens, but you just like 8 Mile those smoke screens by saying, no, not because they weren't happy. And I'm sure you're not looking to switch. I'm sure you haven't seen any bugs like on the inside, But like I said, everyone has been switching to me just because of all the free extra bonus services that we've been providing. It's just really been a no-brainer. So before you get a commitment, before you get like them like shopping, you're trying to spark curiosity, at least a little bit of interest, right? You have to be a little curious. So that's why I do like a kind of vague thing like that. It's just all the free extra bonus services why everybody's been switching to me. So then they're like,
What services?
yeah, okay, well, what you got going on? So they're gonna want something from you. Now they're like, tell me what you're doing, and what are you gonna do? You're not gonna tell them what you're doing yet until you get what you want. Oh, you want to know why everyone's been switching? Give me some things I want. So they're gonna be curious, right? They're gonna be like, okay. They're not gonna say, oh really? Wow, what? They're not gonna be like that. How are they gonna respond when you say everybody? It's just all the free extra bonus service why everyone's been switching to me. What are they gonna do at that point?
Just either stay quiet. Like,
Yeah, they're just gonna like.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
question it for a second.
They're not gonna say, oh, please tell me more.
Yeah, no.
Please. They're just gonna stand like this.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll say it. They'll be like, "What services?"
The Indians,
What?
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Whether they're like, please tell me more, whether they're like this, or whether they're like, I don't know. You still keep going, right? So, they're 8 Mile. You're gonna say it's all the free extra bonus services, like free bonus services. Why everyone's been switching, sparking curiosity, and then they're like, okay, well what? And then you're like, no, like I said though, they're a good company. They're a good company. You definitely know how to pick companies, because what you don't want to do is tell them like, oh dude, you suck at picking companies. You don't know how to make informed buying decisions. Like, and then you're gonna ask them to buy a company. Tell them like, oh, like I said, they're not a bad company by any means. Like you definitely made a good pick with that one. You're good at picking pest control companies. Good job. Compliment, right? Kind of building a rapport back towards you. I wish the guys that were with me yesterday were there, because I did exactly this. And it worked. It seemed like it would work. Like moving through this conversation, except you know the conversation and they don't, and you're controlling it. You know what they're gonna say, and then you are moving it in that direction. So they're like, you got a good company, and then you're like, and like I said, they're a good company though. I mean, what, they sweep the eaves for you, right? Yeah, and then they spray the base and everything. They're spraying the inside as well, like if you need it. Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, they will come back for free if you need anything, right? So all of this is actually just like the switch over kind of to get it framed up, right? And you got to kind of do this, otherwise you haven't primed them. You haven't like prepped them for it. Do you see how that would work?
Yeah.
Like, so then what you want to do is you want to go over service, and you want to explain service. Cool. Correct me if I'm wrong. What they do, like they're a good company. They're going to clean your eaves, right? And they're going to spray your base and take care of the bugs, right? And what am I also doing throughout this entire pitch? I'm
Keeping them involved.
I'm getting agreement the entire time. After everything I say, I'm saying, does that make sense? Right? Right? And I'm getting them to agree the entire time. Right? Kind of like I'm doing with you guys when I say, does that make sense? And you guys are like, yeah. And it grabs the attention. Service. So I'm going to say, but correct me if I'm wrong. When they come out here, and also what am I doing at this point?
Bringing them and walking them.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong though. We're getting away from the door, right? We're getting over here to the light. I'm saying, correct me if I'm wrong, they'll sweep down this stuff for you, right? They're supposed to do that. Cool. And then these weed holes over here, are they spraying this to keep the bugs that are there, right? Cool. Yeah, like I said, they're good. And they will do anything on the inside as well, I'm sure. And they come back for free. Yep. Cool. So now you just did it.
Tie down.
Tie down. Dude, I love it. You knew what's coming. Did you guys know what was coming?
I love tie down.
Did you guys know what the next thing you should have done was? Like, cool, now I need to lock it in. Cool, like tie down, lock it in. What happens if you don't tie it down?
They're like,
They're
oh,
gonna
they do that.
fumble
They
it.
do that. Yeah, they
You're
do
gonna
See,
fumble the
everything
bag.
you say
You can't
they-
close
that. Yeah, they
it
do
at
that
time.
too. They do that too.
Yeah.
And you know that they're gonna do that.
Yep.
So you gotta tie it down.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go apples to apples, right? And what's apples to apples?
Compare.
Contract.
Well, apples to apples, the first thing you want to do is you want to let them know they're not losing anything. So you're like I said, you got a great thing going, and I'd like to stick in there too, the 8 Mile again, because after I explain the service and they've been listening to me for 2 seconds, what are they about to do? What's about to slip out of their mouth?
We're good.
I'm not looking to switch. I'm happy with them.
You got a card?
Thank you. Yep.
Anything.
All those objections are about to come in right here. And then, so what do? You do an 8 Mile, which is, and like I said, I know you're not looking to switch. I know you're happy, because then they're gonna like can't get me with that one. And just so you know, like everything they are providing for you is actually exactly what we provide for you as well. So you wouldn't be losing anything by switching to us. So now you're boom, locked in. Now you can do a value add. Now you can do it's called a support footing, something that you're climbing a cliff and you can kind of put your foot on to kind of push off of. Parker makes the analogy, someone's rock climbing and they're trying to get to the top and they can't see below them right here, they can only see like right here. And you, as the instructor, guiding them through getting this next level, you're like, hey, move your right foot up about 2 feet and 6 inches to the right. And they're like, okay. And there's a footing there. There's something there that's good enough to get you to the next level. Does that make sense? That's what a footing means. Or a value add, So you're gonna say, like I said, you're happy and you're looking to switch, and like I said, nobody switched to me because they were dissatisfied. It's just like Nancy, Nancy, and then you do a story. You're biased, obviously, they're not gonna believe you. You don't just say, oh, but what's awesome about us is we do this and we do this and we do this. Or is it more convincing if I say, but you know what? So Nancy, I was actually just talking to her because I knocked on her door when I got to area to build rapport with everyone. So you guys do that, right? You guys get to know your neighborhood and the customers and get stories out of them to be able to use in your pitch. And you find out what the hot bugs are in the area and like become part of the neighborhood. Hey, no, you happy? You good? Cool. How long you been with us? Why'd you switch? That kind of stuff. Who did you have before? Awesome. Or you just like, I know people's names who have switched from companies and I just use them for the rest of my life. Like Cora Snyder. That's one person who switched from home team. Oh, Cora Snyder, she's over here. She switched from them. You know Nancy down there at the Lexus? You know her? Cool. I was actually just talking to her. She actually had home team as well. She switched us about 3 years ago. The thing was, in the yard, how when it rains, you get those dirt mounds popping up, like the fire ants, right? So what she would do is she kind of hit it with the powder that you get from Home Depot. I'm sure you've seen it. But what she really liked about us is she didn't realize that we actually include the entire property in our regular service, completely eliminating that need for her to have to do it on the weekends or like her kids would all kind of step in them, So, she gave us a shot. She tried us out. And she's loved it. She's recommended us to all her friends and stuff. So if you wanted to go with me, what I could do is the same thing. Is we're gonna come out here and we're gonna granulate all the hot spots, all the nesting and breeding sites on your property, and then we're gonna power treat. It's like a treatment we're gonna do on the property. We're gonna power treat. It's a treatment. I don't like to use like spray or things like that. I like to say, and then we're gonna do a treatment on the entire property, making sure we're keeping all those like wolf spiders and like black widows and like crickets from crawling across it, because you know how it gets out with the construction. Do you guys hear all like the agreements that I'm building up through the whole time? Mm-hmm. So they like, I'm not saying, do you believe that at the end? I'm saying like, right. And then they say yes, they believe it more, right? Cool. So tell you what, if you wanted to just kind of like make sure that the gates are open tomorrow, I can make sure that my guy gets the entire front yard. Well, another thing I'd say too, like I did it last night, I was like, and do you have a backyard too? What's the answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you have grass back there also? Yeah. Cool. If you just wanted to make sure that the gates are unlocked tomorrow, I'll make sure that my guy actually gets the full backyard and the front yard as well, and we get that done for you as well. You're gonna be around tomorrow? Cool. What's a good email to kind of send everything to? And then like I'm not asking for agreement throughout it. I'm just going down my path. I'm like, I'm getting some yeses, I'm priming it up. I can feel they're interested, but they're not gonna tell me they're interested at all. They're just gonna kind of like not say no. And then I'm gonna be like, cool, so what's a good email to send everything to? Email, and I'm guessing that's your name, right? Cool, and then I'm guessing your phone number is 214, no, I'm just kidding. And the house number, okay, perfect. So let me just show you what it looks like, right? And then I'm moving through, right? I didn't say, so did you want to go with us? Like, so apples to apples, footing via a story. And the way you do any type of service, how do you explain a service to effectively explain it? This is going a little detail, but you guys should. You're always going to say where, right? You're going to say, like, you're going to preface it. You're going to say kind of where.
And why.
Yeah, you're going to say, like, what we get out there. So out here and why, you know, so out here in the, out here in the grass, walk out there in the grass. Yeah, so out here in the grass, you know how, like, we get the wildlife running around out here? Yeah, so they drop like fleas and ticks off here, and the neighbors kind of push them when they get treated, and so you'll end up getting a bunch of that, and then your dogs kind of pick those up. I'm sure you treat them, but that doesn't stop them from actually getting bit. It's like actually when they bite it that they die. So your dog's still getting bit. It's just not like killing them, and your dog's not getting infested. That doesn't mean your grass isn't infested. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spot treat all the hot breeding sites for all the bugs, and then we're going to power treat the entire property. Just keep all those bugs down and off your property, if that makes sense. So what I did, there's a 4-step process where, what we're getting. Actually, a lot of times I like to go with the why before the what, because they'll agree with you. If they know why you're doing it, like, hey, you know how we have that field over there? And they'll say, yeah. And they'll agree with you, yeah, we have a field. Cool. And so, you know how we get a bunch of crickets from that field? And then like, oh yeah. It's like, well, we get a bunch of crickets, because you know that field over there? I don't know, I just like to put the reason why before and get agreement before I put the problem. So footing, story, so where, like why we're getting something, what we're getting, and then how we're gonna solve that. So one of the worst things that we're getting, and why Nancy really switched to me, is out here in the grass. You know how when it rains you get these dirt mounds out here? And then like the kids step on them, all that kind of stuff. So what I need to do for you tomorrow when I come out here is I need to granulate all the hot spots, and I need to power treat the entire property, front yard. And you have a backyard too? Is there grass back there too? Okay, cool. I need to treat the entire backyard as well if you just keep the gates off. Now, that's important to do because that's going to keep you from getting eaten up on your ankles, kind of sit there at night scratching them, you know? But if you can just open those gates, I can make sure my guy gets back there if that works. What's a good email to send everything to? So you should be able to effectively explain the service in an impactful way. Oh, the reason she switched to us was because of the yard. We granulate the yard. Is that as impactful as me explaining where, what we're getting, why we're getting it, what we do to solve it, and the benefits? You have to connect the benefit to the feature. They're not going to connect it themselves. And then that's important for you because that's going to keep your ankles from getting all eaten up by all those biters, making you itch at night, or having your kids step in it, or your dog, you know? So it's important to keep those off your property. And they're going to be like, yeah. And I'm staring them in the eyeballs the whole time, like I'm staring you guys in the eyeballs. Do I sound confident? Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? Am I like, come on, like, or and am I making it a decision for you guys? Like, am I like, well, do you want me to treat your yard? Is it okay if I come by tomorrow? No, I'm like, I know where I'm going, and I'm taking you with me. Cool. So, and then a lot of people, they don't close. They don't close, right? They're not effective at closing. So an effective close is a soft close, hard close, right? Do you guys have grass in the back too? You have a backyard, right? And do you have grass back there? Did you have locks on your gates? Cool. If you can just make sure those are open tomorrow, I'll make sure my guy gets back there and takes care of the full backyard as well, if that works. Those are all soft closes. And then the hard close is, what's a good email to send everything to? And an effective close is silence after that. It creates this awkward void and forces them to make a decision. Yes or no?
That's true.
Yes or no?
So right.
And what are you trying to get them to say?
Yes.
Well, that part.
It's great if they say yes. Most of the time, you know what they're going to say.
No.
They're going to say
Anything but
about
yes.
it. Anything but yes. So, sorry this is going a little bit long, but you guys got to understand this. If you don't, like, got to understand this, and we'll put it on, like, YouTube and stuff. What are they going to say? They're going to start giving you objections. These are no longer smoke screens, maybe a little smoke screens, but objections. So, oh crap. You know what I forgot? I totally forgot price.
Initially, if you were to call into my office.
Price doesn't really have like a set spot because it depends on who the person is and how interested they are in price versus services. Usually I would do services after, but some people are like, how much is it?
You're right, dude.
If they want something, don't give it to them. Get what you want first. Like, you got them on the hook. Get stuff out of them. Have you used Pest Control before? Okay, who did you use in the past? Why did you use it? What were you seeing specific bugs? Is there anything specific that you're trying to make sure that they keep out of the home? Like, if you had a company, what would you want to make sure that they keep out of the home? You're getting the stuff out of them. Have you been seeing bugs? Well, how much is it? Well, how many square feet is the home? Okay. And have you been seeing bugs in there? Where have you been? Oh, where have you been seeing those? Oh,
That
man,
reminds
look
me
at
of fishing. Like, you kind of feel like a tug on the first one, and you're like automatically like, oh, I got the tug, I got the fish, and you pull it, and you're like, dude, I don't got it no more.
That's
What happened?
true.
What'd I do? I don't know. I was thinking about fishing at that point. I was like, dang, Jesus, I really like. That
We need
makes
to go
sense.
fishing, dude. We need to go fishing.
Let's go.
We should.
Really good example.
We good?
Right?
You like fishing then?
I'm not awesome, but I like fishing.
That's most fishermen.
So quick one on price. How do you effectively go over price? You guys know this because all I'm saying is the script, right? I'm just saying the script, right? So you go, cool. Now one of the best parts why everyone's been switching to us, because when I gathered info, like in here, right? I'm getting over smoke screens and everything, but this is also gathering info. Okay, so then so you gather their info. They come out. How do you gather info? They're coming out, and they come out for you quarterly, right? About $150 a quarter, $50 a month. Cool. And then is there some specific reason you went with them opposed to like doing it yourself or having someone else? I don't know. So you gather the info. So you got it all. Then you put the price here. And then the best thing you can do is expect for them to say no. They're going to say no. You're going to say no 5 times. And you know that, and you're creating this emotional position that gets them there. You anchor really high, 89 bucks a quarter and $350 on the initial. If they can do it now, you're taking $100 off. Just $250 for the initial. Why do you think I closed a $1,229 contract? Because I offered him a $1,229 contract, and he said yes. Are you guys ever going to get that if you never offer that?
Nope.
Our service is $289. It's a completely different experience. Sorry, and then you guys know these. There's 5 objections. You should know how to get through them. Resolve, ace, close, resolve, ace, close. And just go slowly through it and you'll see. And I wish these guys were here because I did it yesterday. They said no. They thought they were saying no. They were not going to buy it until I was like, well, you know what? I just thought we could actually just do it quarterly instead of bi-monthly. And then I could actually then drop it down an extra $10. It's only $39 a month. And at that point, I'm actually saving you money. Okay, I'd schedule for that. Cool. What was your email? Like, cool. So, I want to train you guys. Like, hit me up, hit me up, hit me up. If you guys can't do exactly what I just did off the top of your head and know the steps and flow automatically, then you're not going to be selling 5 a day.
Thank you, Dan.
Woo!